Hey everybody, I just want to welcome you to the Dauntless Community Roundup. It's me, Lancelot, and I'm here with Peak.
Hey guys.
And we've been surfing the Dauntless forums and we found our top 5 forum posts that we want to talk about. Before we get into that, of course, we want to go over the Dauntless news. This week pretty much has just been that the alpha happened, the tech alpha, on Tuesday and Thursday, the 2nd and 4th of May. It's under NDA, so we don't really know what happened. But the next test is to be the Founders Alpha. And that's kind of some information that's floating around. So be sure to buy your Founders Pack so you can start playing the game and get in there.
Right, so the suspected next alpha will be just for those people who have bought the top tier level Founders Pack, which is on sale for $20 off right now, conveniently. And that will give you access to the very first alpha that's open to Founders level Founders Pack buyers.
Yeah, as of this recording, I believe it's $79.99 instead of the typical $99.99. Is that right?
That's right,
Pretty
yeah.
sure. So yeah, buy it while it's hot. I mean, $20 is $20. That's $20 you can drop on patron status afterwards. You dig?
All right. We love patron status.
We love patron status. It's our favorite part of the game.
So, like Lancelot was saying, we were browsing the forums to look for some talking points that the community as a whole might be interested in, just to sort of get a grasp of what the Dauntless community is talking about right now. The first post we found is a post by Jack4896, who is basically asking about the tutorial and how it should be handled for a game like Dauntless that's sort of got this hardcore PvE vibe to it. And basically his concern is whether or not the tutorial will be this long, confusing thing for new players, or if it should just be a brief thing to get people right into the action.
I mean, this is just my opinion, but I definitely think that throwing people right into the action is good. You take a lot of action games and, well, not a lot of action, but specifically what I'm thinking of is Dark Souls. The formula there is that they always throw something much stronger than you right at the beginning. And I guess in Dark Souls, you're typically not meant to beat it. So maybe in this tutorial, you're not meant to beat it either. Maybe you get your trash kicked by the monster because you don't know what you're doing. Or maybe you have to beat like the most simple monster first before you can hop in there. I think he mentioned Monster Hunter, obviously. I mean, that's mentioned in like every other post for good reason.
He did, yeah.
Having played a lot of Monster Hunter tutorials, they take forever and are typically confusing, and it's just a bunch of wall of text and people fall asleep halfway through, and it eventually throws you up against a monster, and then it encourages you to try like every single weapon type, of which there are like a billion. I'll put on the screen how many there actually are. There's not a billion. But there's a lot more than there are in Dauntless right now. But maybe if you just like, instead of that, if you just give someone a basic weapon and throw it against a basic level monster right from the get-go, and then just throw them into some quests or something after that. But like, yeah, let them get a taste of the action. Like, if the first thing that they're doing is running around Ramsgate picking up quests, and then they're in, or something like that, then pretty boring.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see sort of in-depth tutorials for other game systems, whatever it may be. But as far as just like the combat goes, from what we've seen, it looks just very, very much sort of the type of thing that you need to just experience and get through. So I think having a brief combat tutorial, not this long. I'm pretty sure you were right that he was mainly concerned about the length of Monster Hunter tutorials in general.
Yeah, he says at least 3 hours of tutorial,
Right.
which, yeah, I can confirm that's the case, which is not what you want. You don't want to be picking flowers for 3 hours just to get to the first monster.
Yeah, I agree. We're ready to move on to our next point of topic, which is different weapon types in Dauntless. You can see on the game's wiki right now that there are 4 types. I believe it's a hammer, a type of two-handed broadsword. You also have these things called chain blades,
I
and
think it's sword, hammer, great axe, and
right, the
javelins.
axe as well. So one of the suggestions that's really popular in the community, this post actually reaches all the way back to December of last year, is by a community member named Lunar, and he sort of introduced this possible concept for a weapon of claws. Listed a lot of possible combos and different skills that could be used, but this sort of opens up our discussion for different types of weapons and what we'd like to see in Dauntless as it develops further.
I mean, for me, most importantly, is just variety. Like, it doesn't necessarily need to ship with as many weapons as Monster Hunter or something like that has, but they should periodically come out with different weapon types, I think.
Yeah, I think new content releases, since this will be a free-to-play game, I think periodic content releases, introducing new weapons in those would be a great way to get the community sort of reinvigorated about the game and the content, to try out the new weapons and see if it further fits their style, or something like that. Something to keep it fresh, I think, is spot on, like you were saying, Lance.
I think it's interesting how he has an attack and guard claw, because it basically turns it into the sword and board. But it's cooler than sword and board. At least I
Right.
think so. Because fist weapons are great. So it's a pretty cool concept. Good job, Lunar.
Yeah.
It's an old post, sir, but
But it checks out.
but it checks out. Let's go on to about 9 days ago. Kaiden. That's how I'm gonna say it. It's Kyeden.
Looks like Kaiden, yeah.
Seems Kaiden, man. Posted a picture of Ramsgate, and it looks good. It
looks really good.
I like the boats in the background. I like the symbols on the wood. There's flags. I see what I can only assume is like a hunting board.
Yeah, it looks like some
Monster
kind
Hunter.
of quest, maybe a quest hub that you go and, I don't know, pick up possible quests to hunt specific beasts or behemoths. I mean,
there's papers on it.
there are
It's gotta
papers.
be
Papers are present.
papers, guys.
Zoom in, Charlie.
Let's get a close up on those papers.
You know what I'm also liking about this picture is, as a sort of MMO fashionista as I am, I'm really liking the way this sword looks that's on this character that they're showing. Never mind the fact that this is the first time we've seen Ramsgate, the main town. I'm digging the sword.
I'm digging the weapon art. I think this picture is just I like the heads up display. The HUD looks good. Looks clean. I'm sure it looks like it's just a Tech Alpha HUD, which it says in the corner that it is.
Right, yeah.
It looks clean. It looks good. I like the art style.
Yeah, the art style.
I like the Nordic feel, sort of Celtic too. It is a little bit of a meeting between.
It does have that vibe without being like too elfy. It's nice. It's definitely aesthetically pleasing.
Lots of feathers and tufts of fur on the weapons and armor.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
Would play.
Enjoy the picture again. Yeah, I would play this.
Please invite Alpha.
Shucks, what's the next one? I think the next one was also from Kaiden.
Oh, Kaiden with the dev stream screenshots. Pogchamp.
Kaiden the Rockstar. Pogchamp of screenshots. Looking a little bit at character customizations, and I do have to say that the faces look good. If you can look like all of those characters in game, then we're on a roll. We're off to a good start so far as character customization goes.
Oh yeah, I'd be way hype. It looks like in this third picture in Kaiden's post, we got like different body types. It's hard to see that one. That one's especially blurry, but it does seem like a decent amount of hairstyles are at least being discussed within the studio. I'm gonna guess that these are just ideas currently, but I like what I'm seeing, and I like that it doesn't try to look too real.
There's definitely a stylized realism to it.
Definitely.
But it's almost like looking at a painting. It's like
Yeah.
if a painting came to life, which is neat.
Yeah.
I like that feel.
You got your standard shaved sides hipster hair as a possibility. So we'll see when we see more of the character customization. But
mini mutton chops. Very important to have mutton chops. And then I think our fifth and final post on the forum was by SafariAsst. He was talking, it says here, I'll just read it.
Go ahead. Sure.
Would it be cool if it was implemented that one could change into a certain stance or learn certain moves? Not necessarily anything that breaks the game, but more for the effects/animation and way to approach a different type of playstyle. Now, this is an interesting suggestion. Because playstyle is so determined by what weapon you're using, this would kind of allow the devs to create a new weapon within the same weapon, because the style or hits of the style would be changing. So it would retain its weapon mechanic, but maybe it's a faster style, or maybe it's a slower style.
Yeah, that is an interesting idea. Guild Wars 2 kind of does that with their specialization system. They give a already pre-existing class a new weapon, and I know it's not exactly the same, but it sort of changes the way that type of character plays. So that is definitely a possibility for expansion type content, that the devs could really expand the depth of individual weapons to feel more unique and diverse as the game plays out.
It's an interesting discussion, because something like effects or animations or stances, they could make it so that it affects the gameplay and it's like an entirely different weapon. But if you make it like that, you can't really put that behind a paywall. And something like a stance that, like, maybe it's a flashier stance that makes you look cooler, they might be tempted to put that in like a cosmetic shop, like, oh, you have this new sword stance and it's really cool and it does all these flips and stuff. But then maybe the flips and stuff are better than the base stance, but then it's technically a vanity thing, so you can pay for it, and it's like, oh. And I think that's expressed in this topic here.
Actually, the first poster, Winter, kind of talks about that, and just making sure that the line is basically clear between cosmetic things and a different, like, changing the animations or the hitbox of a character to make these different stances or move styles that SafariAsst is talking about possible. It is a risk. I'm not sure if I would like to see this one, actually, just because it would get so complex as the game began to introduce more and more stances and move sets for a specific weapon that might look different and could end up confusing your party as you're trying to coordinate. One guy could have these cosmetic flippy flips, and he could be going all over the place, and you're not quite sure how to, like, help him.
Yeah, that's true. You invite someone with a sword into your party, but you're not sure whether he's a dragon sword stancer, or like tiger sword stance, or rainbow unicorn sword stance. I don't know.
Right, and maybe the rainbow unicorn stance has like a smaller hitbox or something, so
at that point, it might just be easier for them to make a new weapon, so
right.
You can see what you're getting. So it's an interesting idea, but the implementation would be difficult to do without ruining everything. Not everything, but it would. It could potentially make things more complicated.
No, absolutely. I think they can go with like particle effects or something like that, but as soon as you change the animation in a game like this, where like a split-second dodge is gonna be the difference between your entire party surviving or you wiping, is a little bit dangerous territory for me, and I'm not sure if I would like to see that.
Particle effects for sure. I mean, that doesn't really change anything aside from my sword sparkles now.
Right.
Has a trail of stars, which, I mean, everybody loves that.
I'm all about the glowy.
So long as they have an option to turn off other people's particle effects, because
Oh,
that can really mess with people's setups.
yes,
If
please.
you have a team full of like rainbow fireball dancing, every time it hits a monster bursts into fireworks. I mean, that's it could be bad for people with lower.
It could be bad.
It could be bad for people with lower spec systems. So yeah, I mean, you just have to keep that in mind. But yeah, thank you for SafariAsst. I definitely think that's something that we would see later down the line. I mean, right now they only have 4 weapons, so I feel like creating more weapons would be their emphasis as opposed to stances for the current ones.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think that about does it for our first episode of this community wrap up for Dauntless. Let us know if you like these type of videos and if they're helpful to you. We would love to hear your feedback. If you enjoy this type of content, we will do more, and we would love to hear from you guys in the comments.
Yeah, we really love this game. We love the community. Looking at the forums and seeing things that interest us is awesome. And the community right now like has a bunch of questions and suggestions, and it's nice to see Phoenix Labs taking those into account. And it's nice to have so much to look at and talk about.
Well, I think that about closes out for this week. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See you.